Okay. Welcome. And as you come on and join us, just say hello and where you're from. And let's put the glasses on since I can't make it without it. Hi, Judy. Hello. Oh, that's right, from Connecticut. How are you? Who else is joining us? Okay, B. Hello. And where are you from, B? You're welcome, Judy. Actually, that was a little weird for me when I realized after I did it, because sharing the story, California, sharing the story about the Saturnians was not something I had planned on talking about. Especially because I also post my YouTube on my regular Facebook where my family and friends from back home. So it was interesting, but it's becoming more and more clear to me why they showed up at that time. And maybe I'll talk a little bit more about it. So let's see, did I miss some people? I can't see from far away. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Burba. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, hi, Rosalinda. Welcome. And Burba, welcome. Hi, Terry. You live in the home state of my aunt. She lives in an area, well, she used to live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So now she lives somewhere in Plainwell. Hello, Maureen. So, okay, Burba. So no, it's not your fault that you're seeing things before it happens. Being psychic is just another line of communication, one that our society, our world doesn't accept, but everyone is. And so it would be like you saying, well, I was on my device and I saw something happen and on a video, and I couldn't stop it from happening, and is it my fault? Like if somebody had posted something live. Because it's sort of like that. We're all online. Okay, we're all online in the sense that our inner being is online. It's on there's so many different wavelengths or bandwidths of consciousness. So consciousness is always online. And you're connecting through your internet, okay? You're connecting through your internet to this online collective bandwidth. And so there's signals all around us, and we're all like cell towers. We all are, connected. All this technology that we're seeing, our soul has already represented all of this, or it would not be possible. So, if you were to turn online right now and see something horrible that somebody was streaming live, would that be your fault? No. And it's exact same thing. When we all get psychic impressions, what we see online on our internet is not our fault. Now, why it comes to you at this time may just be to allow you to know who you are in a sense, and you can ask to tune in to other connections. So you may be tuning into, and I've never had this conversation really, so this is kind of, take it what you will. I'm not saying this is authority, but what I'm about to say. But you're connecting right now. So it's like, well, okay, I'm gonna be brave about this, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I believe this strongly right in this moment as it's coming to me. So it's the same thing about going online, okay, on the devices. You can choose what you click into. Now, also be aware of, like, they have algorithms here that are like clickbait that, sort of kind of gets you, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a simple word, but sort of hooked, right? So it's not that you may have chosen, so I'm not blaming you for choosing what you're perceiving or what you're receiving, but there is a lot of fear in the world. And so you may be picking up on, and also you got to remember that every reality is created simultaneously for each individual. So you may be perceiving things that people are strongly aligning themselves with involuntarily or voluntarily. We're not blaming anyone for what's happening. But as far as you're concerned, you can start to ask to connect in, or to be more discerning about the bandwidths, the vibrations that you're tuning into. So what you generally have to do in this case, and we've all been there, okay? So I remember very early in my spirituality process development, I was very much afraid, coming from my Christian background, of a lot of this stuff. I had tarot cards, and in the early maybe late 1990s, and then I threw them all away, and then I had a huge shift, and then I opened back up to it. Like, it was just all seemed silly. But even after that second time of opening up, I still had these beliefs, about hell and the devil and all this stuff, and focusing on the negative things. And so I attracted things in my visions that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes frightened me. So again, I'm not blaming you, but you got to realize that part of it, if it disturbs you, because if it's coming to you, no, let me finish that. If it disturbs you, then this is your ego protecting you and projecting resistance to the opening of your psychic abilities, because you are carrying some ideas about it that may be making it more than what it is, more scary than it actually really is. It's actually a beautiful thing. And once you shift into that understanding, then, and let the other one go, your bandwidth, where you tune in, how you automatically dial in, will change. I don't think that people who see, things that are not pleasant to see are negatively focused. What I think so I believe that every one of our gifts is unique and different, and they serve a purpose. So I had a discussion with someone like this a long time ago. And, how do we, we're all keepers of the light, but some of us, some of us may be called to, some of us may be called to be present with those who are sort of in the trenches of bandwidth. And we may be picking up impressions that, we may be interacting with them and we don't know it, in the sense that we are adding light, projecting light, because that's what we all are at our core, and helping to shore up those areas where support is needed. And some of us may be holding the higher frequencies. Neither one is different in the sense that one is better than the other. They are both work that needs to be done. Somebody needs to lift from the base, and some needs to hold it at the top, and some needs to hold it within the middle, right? If that makes any sense, Burba. So don't, if you call and tune in to your angels and your guides, and you can ask them to support what your work is at this time, and to help you to deal with what you're perceiving, and to help you to make some sense of it. Okay? Great. I'm glad. And thanks for bringing that up. That's a really good question. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking quite a bit today that one of the things that may be a good next thing to focus on is questions that you pose to the universe. Because sometimes the question that we ask, and that was a good one, of course, but some questions that we ask are sort of, how do I want to put this? Some questions that we ask do not necessarily answer. Okay, some questions that we ask do not necessarily help us to achieve the answer that we're looking for on our highest or soul core level. We're asking a question that is actually in resistance to the way that our inner being is aligned with God, with the universe, with oneness. So it's a subtlety of being aware of, is the question you're asking, no question is stupid, let's just say that straight up. So it's never wrong to ask a question, but is the question aligning with the frequency of resistance, or is it aligning with the bandwidth of your higher consciousness, what your source or your soul's true desire really is? And I'm not getting into, I think you may understand me. So, like a question like, will I get the job? Now, somebody may say straight out that question is fear-based because you are worrying about an outcome. And instead of focusing on how you can be in alignment, be ready to align with the job that you are applying for. Like, which one is more in alignment with where your soul is trying to draw you? Because your soul's always trying to call you from the resistance that we create. It's our human nature, we can't help it. But you can pay attention, because as you are asking the question, you feel the resistance. You get more anxious. You become more confused and unsettled, versus asking a question like, how can I get in alignment with the opportunities that are right for me at this time? Or this, how can I get in alignment with this job if it's a right opportunity for me? So I haven't refined this. They in this today, just putting that in my head. Just some, I don't know, last hour before this started. So that may be the next sort of series I may do in terms of communicating with the angels or communicating with the divine, and all the other beings that are out there, because there are beings from different star systems in etheric form that are assisting us right now. I'm missing some questions. Let me see. B says, explain to my clients, the more focused the question, the better the reading. Absolutely. The angels answer what you ask. If you give them loopholes, the answer could take it. Right. Okay, I guess it's like one of those fears of whether or not I'm manifesting bad or good things for people, since manifesting is such a popular topic. I get what you're saying with the question. Okay, great. Yeah, and I think, a lot of us have trouble with this, because even especially when we're doing readings for ourselves, and then especially like if we have clients and they ask questions, and hello, Kathy, welcome. Hello, well, there's two Kathys, I think. All right, welcome. So the thing is, how do you keep it simple? I find, when you I would write my questions down, and like I was working on some questions for clients, and I wrote out what they gave me, and then I read it, and I pay attention to. Well, first of all, I got to pay attention to my own ego too, right? Because some questions just make you nervous, a little bit, and you wonder, can I answer that? And but I pay attention to the client in terms of, is this question really going to assist them? Like, is this getting to the heart of their question? Is this what they're really asking? So you have to pay attention to what they're asking, and then remember the vibration, because that's the clearest, true form of communication, not so much what people say. But as you read what someone says, or you read what you're saying, you feel that there's something not matching. It's not a perfect fit. And that right away, you're already attuning to what is in alignment for them. And so it's sitting with it, being patient, and trying to get it so that it gets to the point in a way that feels like it fits, like it just like something just clicks in. So simple. My mind is usually always thinking a little complicated, even with words. So, you can just keep trying to reduce the question, and if it feels better, great. If it feels too simple, then add, But we'll talk about that. I'm probably going to take just a week or two, or something like that, of a break, and then work on this one. So we have the last part of the year to finish tonight. And I discussed today on the weekly reading about the Saturnians. So, and I've still been seeing them, and I've been seeing them before this is starting. So Yeah, wow. And the feeling that I have, and that the role they're going to play, especially in assisting now, but is to help lead us to, in the final quarter of the year, they're going to help us to to bring forward inner um, our inner spiritual gifts of alchemy. First of all, as I said today, what I didn't get a chance to say was, I think the first time I saw my mother is like I saw my mother depart 2 times, and I know that doesn't make sense, but the first time was at like after midnight, or maybe 11:30, but just before midnight, energetically, not physically, but energetically. And the first was these beings that looked like witches, the Satyrians. I didn't know it at the time. And so what I believe is that my mom went this was where she went for her journey, her spiritual journey, at sort of like a school. And so this is Saturn is like about the spiritual discipline, and they seem to all show themselves to me as these alchemists, like with these witches, with the witch hat, like like Harry Potter school. And so when I have seen just the symbol of witches, I always knew right away that it meant owning your spiritual power, standing in or that you're in the process of developing your spiritual power. Now, I've seen them in black robes and white robes, and it does not mean evil and good, okay? Black has nothing to do with evil or negative, and it's always associated, and it's not at all. This is represents the inner journey, so like the German, the innig, is that inner journey. This is where the activity of creativity, formation, it's the gestation, the giving birth, the creative template. So it's far from anything evil, but everything to do with development, giving birth, like nature herself, like the womb, like now in winter, the seeds are beneath the earth, in the dark soil, and they are being nurtured and protected so that when the time comes, that seed will, when it's ready, will sprout and blossom in the springtime. So this is a place where things can grow before they're ready to be put into action, or before they're ready to be revealed. And this is a natural instinct and a natural process, right? I mean, like, there are a lot of things that we want to, a lot of things that come to us, like insights, like this whole thing with the Satyrians. Like, I've kept this for 5 years to myself because it took that long for me. It didn't happen until just at the end of last year, when it finally was revealed to me who they were. So I was just calling them alchemists and didn't know where they were from. And it took a while, and I still don't know what's going to happen with this, but it's coming out now. But it needed time to sit within me. I'm sure my soul, on a very deep level, has already had this interaction, and we all have, but it's resurfacing to me, and it needed time. Maybe I would have rejected it or something, who knows? But there is a reason for this aspect. So and I don't think that the white is necessarily the masculine, but it's it doesn't matter what how you may, if you do catch a glimpse of them. My mother just happened to be wearing white. She had on the cap too, but hers was white, and everybody else. There were many of them flying around her, taking her there, and so in my mind right now, the word that comes to me is the novice. That there's something that she was going to learn. I remember, and God forbid my family would probably have a fit, me saying all this stuff. But I remember towards the end of my life, my mom did not understand what I was doing. And then at one point she did. But she was an incredible prayer warrior, if you want to say, and incredible faith. And I saw miracles happen all the time, like all the time. That saying you've heard me say recently, that we said, my upbringing, God can make a way out of no way. That would happen in my house to my mother all the time. Money would come from it, because my mother didn't make a lot of money. She was a single parent, but she worked hard and she provided for us. But the miracles, I saw the help. And so it makes sense that my mother would sort of be an alchemist, as her soul was always an alchemist, and she always had access to these gifts, even though for her it was just faith. And I didn't see it happen to a lot of other people, but I know there are other people who it does happen for. I don't think I'm as lucky as my mother in that way. But one time, a neighbor had cancer, and she went and she prayed for him, but she took out her hand, she said, and she described to me, she says, I don't know what I did, but she placed her hands, and you are going to know right away, on different positions, she said. She started from his head, and she worked down, and he couldn't talk. And when she was done, he was able to talk for the first time in months. And what she described to me was Reiki, or some kind of, it was exact positions for a Reiki session. But my mother would not have believed in anything like Reiki or angels, or she didn't believe in anything but the Bible. And she could not believe that she had that experience. So towards the end of her life, her gifts were really surfacing. And the second, which was the actual time that she did expire, was the second vision I saw. And it actually happened because they said that that's who she was calling for. And I saw from New York, I was in her bedroom, and I saw her bed, and I saw her on her bed, but I saw Jesus standing there with a lamb at his feet. And that's who she was calling on at that very moment, that very hour, telling him that she was ready, because that's what everybody in my family told me. So, and my mother prepared herself. She wanted to be cleaned before she passed. So she wanted, to be clean, her body to be bathed. Basically, my mom had cancer, and she was basically drowning in her, she couldn't, if anybody's ever done the hospice thing. So, and she asked for fish. Don't know why. But my mother did some things that were interesting, so they told me. So, yeah. So anyway, this is, and I must tell you this last thing too, that when I finally came home, the energy in her room was electrifying. From the floor, I felt the entire floor just like this, wow, this intense frequency, this intense bandwidth. And I'll never forget it, I'll never forget it. So they are preparing us for our own divine alchemy to come forward. So some of you may discover yourselves becoming powerful manifestors or alchemists, that these gifts may be coming forward. For others, you may find that you will be stepping into your spiritual power, and whatever other gifts that, however those gifts may reveal themselves to you. So, I'm aware that Archangel Zadkiel and Saint Germain, like the violet flame, and is also associated with Saturn. So this is where and I talked about today about the challenges and like this obstacle course that will bring out the gifts. And so Saturn sort of is that kind of energy where it feels like it's challenging you or testing you, but it's not in a negative way, but it's helping because we put up so much resistance. It's helping you to trigger you. It's like your guides are going to create an obstacle course to trigger your natural gifts, so that it overrides your tendency to react with fear, and it's probably going to set it up so that it triggers deep down in your core, deep down in your soul, and into the depths of your mastery, and bring those things out, sort of just like cause you to just sort of, I don't want to say regress, but it's almost like, like having a past life regression, and you'll just you won't go back into the past life, but you'll pull forward some of those gifts that you had mastered in your soul over your lifetimes. Okay. Okay, so let's just go ahead and begin, because we have no idea what we're going to actually be seeing here. And so I need to get us in that place where we're ready and prepared with the meditation. So let me just make sure I haven't missed anything here. So why don't we go ahead and close our eyes and take a deep breath. And I don't know why the first thing I was seeing was a computer screen, but okay. And I am seeing the Satyrians here, and this one is wearing white, and her hat has white fur around it, and she's wearing some white fur, not like a full fur, but just it outlines her white robe. So I've not seen this before. So she's inviting you, it's almost like she's inviting you, but because she's got the fur, she's a little bit more than a novice. She seems like she's a high level being from Saturn. And she's telling me, so she's writing the letter T, which is my symbol for trust, okay? And so she's wanting to help you with the initiation of trusting your guidance, and trusting that you're on the right path, no matter what that path is. Because remember the obstacle course idea? So a lot of us cannot accept where we are. We can't make peace with where we are. I just heard Abraham say this week. The biggest thing that we could do to slow down or to soothe the resistance is to make peace with where we are. And it does not mean that you say to yourself, okay, I'll just give up. That's not what it's saying. But if you make peace with where you are, then you can be open to where you really want to be. But you can't have the resistance to where you are and not continue to be stuck there. You can't move forward. So in this way, we're all novice, me included, because I'm just the one facilitating the information. I'm hearing it for the first time. I'm just as weak at it in this as you are. So we have to make peace with where we are in order to be able to start moving forward. And we don't really need the obstacle courses. We don't need them. But we just don't know how to dial out or tune out of our resistance and just put it down. We don't know how to just trust. We don't know what the frequency of trust is, actually. It's something that we play at, we tap into, it's like a split moment. But here's the thing. All you need is just a split second to experience it. And you'll be able to expand upon it and to really work with it. So we're all novice here in that regard. And so our next, component of this, so what she wants to help us to do right now is just to connect in with our heart space. And she keeps writing the letter S, and I'm not quite sure what that is yet. So she wants us to connect in with our heart space. And just allow yourself to feel as though you're going on a journey. And you might feel immediately as though you've just started to lift off. Don't resist it and don't try to think it. Be with whatever it is that you're experiencing. And know that if you're not feeling that shift, that it's still occurring for you. And just allow yourself to feel that as you focus on your heart flame, that you feel lighter. And just give away any resistance or set an intention to release a little bit of your resistance or as much as you are able. And what you want to be open to is that you are trusting your angels, you're trusting God. Feel the faith that resides within your heart flame. You may not know how you're going to reach this level, but for a moment, you're just able to feel it from within the peace of your inner being. Know that once you connect in to your inner being, you are automatically online with the internet of oneness. And just allow yourself to be transported to a place, to a frequency of greater ease, where you are moving smoothly and effortlessly through the obstacle course that you've set up for yourself, that your ego has projected, but that you're passing with flying colors. And that you're singularly focused on your life purpose, which means that you're focused on what you're truly passionate about. And you're going to set aside for just this moment any concerns that others may have about what you're really passionate about. And maybe it's a secret for you. There's a letter S word there. Maybe you're not very comfortable sharing this idea with anyone. And maybe it's just not the right time to share it. Maybe right now what it needs is to gestate within your soul. And so maybe you could come to this space within your inner being and have some playtime where you just imagine and you enjoy exercising your creative abilities and your free will to explore and experiment with this passionate idea, to explore your desire, to feel and to imagine what it feels like to actually have your request granted. And just pay attention to what that feels like. And feel how quickly the momentum of consciousness picks up, speeds up towards granting you the experience immediately. Here in the frequency of oneness, everything that you can imagine is real. You are actually going to a real place in your imagination, but it just happens to be a dimension. Remembering that you are multi-dimensional, multifaceted, and that you choose to be focused where it is you believe reality exists. But it's all projections of your desire. So you can go to this place which you believe to be your imagination, and with enough consistency and practice, you can really allow yourself to evolve with your desire and have that grow to such a strong intensity that it feels almost like you could touch it, that you could experience every level of joy, peace, prosperity, and success. Remember that you are powerful. And just think about some of the ideas that are possibly coming to you about that passion, that desire that you have, and what you might be able to begin working on right now to make that occur. Now, in this three-dimensional reality, all that joy that you experience having it immediately, you are eagerly wanting in the three-dimensional reality to enjoy every delicious aspect of this desire unfolding as you witness yourself manifesting what you have created in your imagination, or what has been inspired to you. There's really not a big difference between how you've been inspired and what you can imagine. Just that you think one is really possible and you think the other one is just a figment. And what they're showing me is sort of an airplane. And what I was sensing is some of you are gonna really launch, that you just really launched some of your desires in oneness. And so that now the universe will be sort of feeding you steps and guidance, revealing to you signs to help you to participate in its unfoldment. And they need you to really focus in on your soul and what your soul wants, on that internet. Focus and really tune into that internet. Because that's where you'll really get all of the pieces, all the components that you need. Okay. Take a really deep breath. And let's bring our attention back into the space. And I saw, I'm not sure if I see. Yeah, I'm sure, Terry. So one of the angel numbers that I saw was 200. And The message says God's powerful and unconditional love is filling your heart and mind with faith so that you can rise above any seeming troubles. Trust that all is well because it is. And this was sort of in the middle of the whole meditation. He's filling your heart with unconditional love, your heart and your mind. And so it's really important that we connect in with our imagination, which is an aspect of our mind, and our heart's desire, so that we have between the imagination and the desire of your heart, you fill your mind and your heart with the unconditional love that the universe is giving to you. And when you do that, you don't leave room for you to doubt, to entertain your fears. So instead of worrying, allow yourself to connect in with your inner being and get online to your internet and tune into your heart's desire. What is that passion that's been inside of you for so long? It doesn't mean, don't worry about what it means. Like, don't think, oh, you mean I start to leave my job? Don't worry about how things are going to unfold. That's the kind of thing that disrupts the beauty of just, having the desire. It's the same thing with like saying, somebody will say, well, oh, should I leave my job now and just, and start doing whatever this is that you believe you should do? And the thing is that it's best to do that when you know you're ready. So if you're not ready, if you're nervous, then don't do that. Don't make that a thing that has to be done. Because it's best if your heart's desire or your goals are not receiving interference from your ego, from your fear-based mind. So until you know that you have this strong connection with your inner being and you spent a lot of time on that internet, tuning into your heart's desire and really using your imagination to sort of tap into that experience and to allow you to feel and enjoy and really get a sense. It's sort of like wanting to go to, let's say you're thinking about buying something, I guess like buying a house, right? And so what you would do is you would go visit the house. You would, that's what we do. We go shopping, we go around. You're not making a purchase yet. You're not doing anything. You're just checking it out. You're looking at it. You're seeing how you would feel in that space. And you can do the same thing when these desires start to erupt. And so many erupt at a time. Why not spend a little bit of time every day imagining being with them, those desires, and seeing how they really resonate with you. And not only that, to discover just how much joy, how much excitement, enthusiasm, passion you might be inspired with. So it may take a little time for you to line up with what's in your heart, to get your mind, your thinking mind, going back, that's why I say use your imagination, because that's using the mind in a creative way. Especially when you notice that you have anxiety because you're worrying, you're using your mind to think, and you're just layering in more confusion. So shift that around so that your mind can be used as a creative tool and to help you to really connect with your desire rather than to criticize your desire, is what happens when your mind does that. Okay, So trust is just going to be a huge factor here. And that aspect that they're saying, they're trying to help you rise above any seeming troubles. God's powerful and unconditional love is filling your heart and mind with faith so that you can rise above any seeming troubles. I just get a strong feeling, trust that all is well, because it is. I get the strong feeling that this going within, connecting with your inner being, and then spending some time like pretending like you're in the house that you're going to buy, or that you say you want to go down a few sizes in your dress, right? Then imagine what you would feel like, and the confidence, and so that you're motivated every day. Use this imagination process, this creative process, to motivate you to take action on the opportunities that are available to you right now, and that's in alignment with your goals and dreams. That's what I'm really getting. Use it as a motivation. Okay, so let's tune in to the month that we have October, November, and December. So let's tune in together, and I always call in and ask Source to overlight the angel reading, and then call up the month of October 2020, and then we call up that energy matrix. Just feel yourself, you'll feel the energy shift as you tune in and call up each one of these. And then call up your monad I am presence, your higher self soul, and your physical and spiritual essence of your multidimensional and multifaceted soul personality. Just feel the energy shifting, increasing, or intensifying. And then your Ascension God team is already here. So just call them in as well. Call in your Ascension God team of unconditional love. And as we just relax and breathe, we have the same intention as we have for every month that we're been tuning into. We're seeking to understand and be clear about how you can participate and create your desires that are in alignment with the ascension process through which you are evolving at this time. And so you're asking, how can you sort of tap into the opportunities that are available to you? How can you create the opportunities that are available for you in the month of October? Okay. Okay. Interesting. So we had the third quarter, we had all this abundance, the Empress, the Wheel of Fortune, and transitions with the Six of Swords. And now we have the Ace of Disc, or the Ace of Pentacles. So, this deck has some nudity and some interesting images. There's even some, humanoid animal figures here. So this is the head of this is a hermaphrodite with the head of a calf and wings. Okay, and she has this a labyrinth on her abdomen. And so I'm just sort of drawn to this. And there's a lot of browns in this card. It sort of gives you that sort of earthy tone. And so just show it to you. And it's like she's standing in a doorway. All right. And so, or it is standing in a doorway. And so the calf for me is a symbol of abundance and nurturing, and this sort of labyrinth or maze on the abdomen, on the solar plexus. So it just really, this card, the Ace of Pentacles usually is about some start, of opportunities unfolding for you. And hi, Josie. And that, you have this opportunity it could be like, a shift in finances. It could be some kind of new opportunity, business opportunity. But what I'm focused on is the solar plexus area, and that this labyrinth is there, and that we've been talking about the obstacle course, right? I didn't know this was going to come up. So we've been talking about this obstacle course, and the maze is like an obstacle course, isn't it? Because you have to navigate, and there's just all of these, you can get lost, and it can be endless, right? But the thing about it is that it's about listening. It's about, you don't know which way to go, and you have to slow down. You have to really connect in with your inner being, and you have to stay calm through the whole process, so that you don't panic. You know that there is a path in, and I can't see the details here, but I can see these lines, and it just looks very clear. Like, I don't know, that's gonna I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it there, but there are these 4 lines you can see, and it just looks like there's one that kind of goes straight in. It's not that difficult to get to the center, but the whole idea is, slowing down. And what is this going to bring out in you as you go through it? It's not going to break you in a negative way, but it's going to help to open something up. And, maybe at this early stage, maybe you don't have it clearly in your mind exactly what you need in order to fulfill your desire. You may have the goal, but you maybe haven't established what you really need, what you need to process in order to reach that goal. You haven't taken into account everything that it takes. And so this is an opportunity, this is a starting point. This is something that's being handed to you. A door is being opened, and she's standing in the way. And it's almost like she's has the ability to guide you through this being. And that it's a hermaphrodite. It's like it's got this balanced energy of the masculine and feminine. And the head represents the instincts. And so what you need to really trust, what this card is kind of in my mind telling us, is that you're gonna be working on working with all of your abilities, that you're going to be applying both the masculine and feminine energies, that they're one, right? And then like everything is sort of in alignment. So one thing that's coming to me is like this feeling of everything being in alignment. And you're trusting your instincts to figure out what's the next step, what you will do with that, what will come out of it. So the next card would be 2, how to balance that. Like say a partnership, or how to balance, like you may, there may be something else that you will work with that will help you to take that initiative and develop it to the 3, which creates something more specific for you. So head tilted as if to coax. That's right. Like she's kind of inviting you in. Like, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you, and you're right. It's very seductive, isn't it? And this is like something like unfamiliar. So let's just look at it from, all right, you appear at this door, and this being pops out, and you don't know what to do. This is something you've never encountered before. And yet she's got this allure, it has this allure. And it's so confident because it's balanced and all the energies. It's trusting its instincts. It knows, and that it has this labyrinth on its solar plexus area. It means that it has confidence in its abilities. It is not afraid of a challenge. It is ready for a challenge. So in some ways, you're going to be feeling like you're ready for a challenge. But you may have to discover, are you really ready for that challenge? So something you may be really ready for this, but then you may feel as though when you're faced with it, you may feel like you don't know what to do. And so are you going to be willing to step in on faith and enter and trust and learn and be open? So the feeling I'm getting is that this is about being open to an opportunity. It may not be in the way that you're expecting it, but can you really open yourself, open your heart? Because that would be sort of like, here's the opportunity, and then that 2 would be you opening yourself to that opportunity. And that's when you do that, that's when something else unfolds. Okay? All right. So, because that last card we had was, that transition and crossing that bridge, if you remember. And we were talking about being ready for something. So here we have, it feels like an opportunity that may come to you, either come to you or come through you. And are you going to be ready to take that chance? Okay. All right, so let's take a moment to take a deep breath and just sort of take in the card for ourselves in the image and see what it is that we connect with in terms of what is it that we need to do in order to create or to be prepared for this opportunity? Or how can we be open to the opportunities that come to us in this month of October 2020? And so close your eyes and take a deep breath. And really allow yourself to see like a spotlight shining on you, on it, like you're on a stage, and it's nothing but the spotlight. And then all of a sudden, the spotlight is gone, and the space is completely dark, allowing yourself to enter your soul flame and to be within this space of clarity. And then see this image open before your eyes in your inner eye. And take a moment to take in the essence of the card. And try not to let your mind interfere or worry about what you're going to get or not get. But just see this image and let it come to life for you. And when you're ready, take a deep breath and step into the card. And ask this being any question that comes to your mind, or just listen to whatever advice or wisdom is imparted to you. As your angels and your guides will be working through every part of this card, this image in your mind. As you're focused upon how you can create the opportunities for yourself in this month and align with them. And now that you have had a little bit of time to explore the card, thank your guides and your angels for the messages that they shared. And allow yourself to take a deep breath and step out of the card and return to your space. Okay. So what were some of the messages that you guys received about this card? Okay, the labyrinth is a path to healing. Feels like the beginning of the it feels like the beginning of your journey in aligning with your abilities to manifest. Oh wow, Aries came through as an archetype. How interesting. because that labyrinth just resonates with me in terms of the challenges, the obstacle course that will bring out those gifts for you. But at this point, it feels like you're going to be ready to start playing around with these abilities to manifest, to plant seeds, right? It's very seductive. It's like you're going in here, and in my mind, when I stepped into it, when I stepped into it, I felt like it was inviting me in. It was a very, I feel like, I don't know, it felt like we're going to create life together. And so it was a bit scary, but it felt like, this sort of alchemy of life, like you're, really starting to create what you want. Okay. Well, the card, Judy, sort of the Ace of Pentacles or discs represents an opportunity, a new beginning of some sort. Okay, and since the disc represents the material plane or the material world, this could be anything, something developing, something tangible, or like it could be an area of your home, or a business idea, or something in your work, or something with your family, something that something that's a new beginning, a change that you're making in your life. It could be a change in career. It could be that a change happens in your work environment, but it's always a very positive card. And you usually see, like, she's inviting you, right? This calf, which sort of is a symbolism of the calf is, the fatted calf, so some kind of opportunity. She's inviting you to participate in some new opportunity. And so that's what may be coming up at the beginning for October, that you're either starting something, or that you may actually receive some new opportunity that comes to you, or something may just emerge out of something that you have been already working on, and it just starts to gestate. The seed pops up. You start to get the first rewards of whatever it is that you've done on the other levels of spiritual, emotional, and mind, etc. And so for the first time, something appears at the physical level. Okay? All right. So let's take a look. Let's take a look for the month of November now and see what will unfold. So that month of October feels, it to me, there's something hidden about it. It's not quite revealing everything yet. That's what it just feels like to me. It feels like it's going to be a huge shift for you, something that you may not have necessarily been expecting, but something that will take you a little bit of time to get used to. So that the opportunity is coming, but I feel like it's still going to challenge you, because it's not something that you may readily be open to. What are these suits equal compared to other decks? So discs are equal to pentacles, which is the traditional pentacles coins. It's a traditional terms. Disc is used in the Thoth decks, and so she's kind of combined a little bit of that Thoth Rider-Waite-Smith system. All right, but it's pretty much Rider-Waite. But of course the artwork is just very different. All right, so let's tune in now. We don't need to. We can just call up the matrix for energy matrix for November 2020. And asking for clarity about what our role is in this month and how we can create opportunities and align with the opportunities of the Ascension process for the month of November 2020. And boy, I really, the Satyrians are really here in numbers surrounding us with our angels. Okay. And this word I'm seeing is can, as this, you can do this. Okay, so now we have the Queen of Disc, or the Queen of Pentacles. So again, we have another Earth. So the element, Judy, for these two cards is Earth, okay? So if you think about that, and so the Queen of Earth, she has, wow, these spirals, you know, in her hair, of her face, and off to the side you can see these flowers blooming, but out of her eyes, her tears of diamond tears, and that's a very interesting image. So I don't know. I just have to tell you what I'm seeing. So, but both of these cards, the feeling is that this Saturn energy is playing a big role, and I don't know if, you know, this is going to be something that's astrologically happening, but I do have a sense, because the Saturnians are present for this reading, that this is, you know, it's going to be a huge shift for us to embrace our power, okay? This is not something that we have really ever experienced before. We're starting to really get sort of glimpses of this experience. But this is really going to, you know, this is going to be something, this is huge if you think about this. So we're going to have to be, you know, we're expecting good things, but we still have to really be prepared for, you know, our inner resistance, because we've been so used to things turning out a certain way. And that's going to be a part of the challenge, is to let go of those old beliefs and to really embrace it. But I found it so interesting that her tears turn into diamonds, and I'm just drawn to that as I'm talking about this. It's almost like, you know, you will discover through the challenges of transforming your life, because I one of the things I think of the Queen of Disc is like, you know, the queen who can just do anything, right? Like she can as far as making her home, making life beautiful. And here, she just knows how to transform, hardship into beautiful things. I think about my grandmother who used to make all of these little floral arrangements, and she would took egg cartons and with fake flowers, and she made these arrangements. Sort of like out of recycled things. She would make these beautiful arrangements, and so this is kind of what I'm getting at here. It feels like there's some kind of we're able to just take take something that's really sort of difficult and transform it, into something beautiful. So almost like it's like something like what we're doing in the one, we get this opportunity, but we're not used to it yet. So we have to start reworking ourselves. We have to change our conditions. We have to kind of get out there and work with it a bit, and make it into and adjust and get used to things being this way for us. So there's going to be some kind of transforming that you will go through here. And, like this is, I think of her as the creativity queen, in terms of, being resourceful and, have a lot of skills. Like she has the green thumb, just knows how to take something that's not doing well and heal it and, bring it back to life or transform it or to recycle it for something, put it to better use. She just knows how to put things to better use. And so it's even hard as I'm trying to say it. I can feel it, but it's hard to put it into words, just exactly what I'm feeling. But there is this sense of you figuring it out, that you will tap into those skills of creativity, and you'll finally figure out how to change the situation. I told you my grandma used to say, take what you got and make what you want. Let me see. Is that the same? Okay. Maybe I saw that question already. Yeah. All right. So for the month of November, let's see what is being asked of you as we tune into this card. Okay, let me see. Yeah, that's interesting, right? Because she's not a water sign, but it's also interesting that there may be, all of the queens in the tarot have the water element plus their own. So that's interesting that you would notice that, because that the water element is interesting that you would see that Cancer sign. Like all the kings, I think, have the fire sign plus their element, and I forget the knight in the page right offhand. Okay, but that's that nurturing, because the water element is that nurturing element that every queen has, and the fire is that inspiring, very active element, mastery, that all the kings have. So, yeah, I'm just really drawn to this whole thing with the tears turning into diamonds. And just think of a transformation that's happening. And it's also interesting you bring that up, that you see that over the eye. And maybe what's going on here is almost like her hair is turning into physical, like wood, like, like she's, a physical tree. So she's very grounded, right? And, but all of her ideas, she knows how to turn every idea in her mind into, she knows how to nurture them into what the form they need to become. And so maybe what you're going to be discovering is how to turn your ideas and goals into the form that they need to become. So you're going to start to see your ideas turn into a form. You're going to be nurturing them into form somehow. Okay? You're going to be nurturing them into form. So there's this feeling is that it feels like that developmental aspect where she grounds the energy. She grounds the idea. She grounds it into existence. She's holding. The queen is holding the space for the manifestation, holding the intention very clearly until it turns into form. So that this is going to be this thing where you have to be patient. So in the first one we had the ace, and the opportunity is presented to you, but you're not quite sure what to do with it, and you just have to trust. You have to go like kind of blind faith, and then somehow as you experiment and explore, you start to get a really sense until you reach this point where you hold space. I feel like the queen is going to be holding space, and so you're going to be holding space for this opportunity, and so until it turns into a form. Okay. Her hair goes through her nostrils and mouth too. Let's see, that's gone. Like she's one she's one with everything. Yep. And that's the thing. That's how we hold the space. She's grounding. All the queens have a grounding element that, in terms of their developmental stage. She's grounding. She's holding the space, so things can they can turn into a form. And that's what you're going to need to do in the month of November. You're going to have to hold the space for it. And what that might look like, in practical terms. How might you be holding the space? So you may have to be the one who believes in this opportunity. Maybe everybody else around you is doubting, but you're the one holding it. And so you are grounded in your position, and you are nurturing, inspiring others to do the same. Maybe you're the one who comes up with, you have the practical guidance to keep everybody on track, just as an example. All right, so let's close our eyes together and step into our imagination, our heart space. See that spotlight shining on you, and then see it go out, and it's pitch black. And then bring up the card in your imagination. And I'm seeing her hold a book like the high priestess. So there is something for you, there's information, important lesson in this for you to receive. So take a deep breath and step into the card and ask this queen how you can hold the space in your life to support your dreams and goals. What are some ways that you can do better in this regard? Just whatever information comes to you right away. And just take another moment. And now take a deep breath. Thank your guides and your angels for assisting you with the insights to help you to create an authentic reality. And step out of the card and open your eyes when you're ready. And if you could just start sharing your insights, and we'll have to move on. Yeah, Cancer's a nurturer, yeah. Hi, Susan. These things keep sliding off my eyes. No problem. It'll be replaying for you anyway, after this is over. Okay. That's interesting that you felt that telekinetic connection to your third eye. Oh, you saw the cow. Okay. So maybe that means you're going to be holding space for some form of abundance, new form of abundance in your... Does anyone else have any comments or about what they received? If you write your comments in the about each card, then that way other people will read it who are not here with us, and they will be able to gain some insights as well. Okay. Just a bright light around her neck. Okay. Well, that would maybe be her throat chakra. So maybe you'll be holding the space by speaking your truth and speaking the truth that you feel and that you know is accurate. You know, giving practical advice, support. Kathy, very interesting. Wow, that's really powerful, Peachy. That's so true. We don't know what others are going through. It's a hard one to remember too. Okay. Yeah, me too. I had a very strong connection with the tears turning into diamonds. So that she has this ability, like everything from her head, like, you know, her everything from her head, her imagination is turning it into something physical. And the tears are turning it into abundance, diamonds, you know. So we may feel like we are, you know, having a difficult time. Like, again, it's going back to that obstacle course thing. It was, with the labyrinth in the first card. Oh, I got to reverse this, I think. With the labyrinth in the card for October, and and then we see the tears turning into crystals. Both of these are like, challenges. This is the labyrinth is a challenge. Here we're seeing that challenge being transformed. So it's been elevated. So there's a sense of maturity here as well, like moving from ace to the queen, right? So there's a lot of growing up, or a lot of opening up, or a lot of growth, since it's the pentacles, that will happen in these 2 months. And everything has to do with something developing, manifesting, something we're reaping. And so interesting that this comes at that time of the year where, October, November, right? Where we kind of have like Thanksgiving, so rose petals. Okay, so wow. This is going to be like the first one where it's long. So let's go ahead and do December for 2020. All right, and let's just together close our eyes, meditate, call up the energy grid or the energy matrix for December 2020. And while I shuffle the cards and you see in the word angels. So we call upon our angels to help us to align with the wisdom, the insights, the clarity and truth that we need, and to reveal to us the ways in which we can create the opportunities that are available to us and align with them. I'm seeing the angel number 250. And 200 just keeps repeating. I forgot to mention in the last card, but I've seen it all 3 cards. So let's see. Seeing a lot of numbers. Wow. Okay. All right, this is the 4 of Cups. So that's interesting. If I don't remember the other numbers, then they're not important. Whatever stays is what I'm supposed to show you. So 250 says, your prayers to positively change your life have been heard and answered. The more you stay filled with faith about these changes, the better the outcome. Okay? The better the outcome. So now this is an interesting 4 of Cups. Interesting 4 of Cups. So, a lot of people have a lot of different, not a lot of different interpretations of the card, but usually people think of this card as, someone who is not showing much interest in other relationships. They're kind of isolated, and there's usually one cup. He's got 3 cups. He's not satisfied with those, and and he's been handed another one from the clouds. Just like with all the aces, like the opportunity's being given, and then he's just he's not paying attention. He's missing out. He's distracted by something else, or he's wallowing in something. So kind of ways to look at it. But there's another interpretation of the 4 of Cups where it's about grounding. It's about, because the 4s are about stability and grounding, and that he is, just tuning in and sort of tuning out all the noise and just paying attention to what's coming within. So he has these 3 cups that's sitting in front of him, but spiritually there's a hand in the clouds. That means that as he grounds, as he goes within, he receives that cup, the Ace of Cups, from the divine. He gets divine assistance. Now here we have this very There's the seashells lying on the beach, where the tides are just, turbulent and all over. Thank you, Maureen. But it's calm, just calmly laying there. And so here is that same thing. It's like, now you could say, well, that doesn't look very stable. But the thing about it is that that seashell is in its element either way, right? It's in its element. It's where it needs to be. It's close to the water. If it gets swept into the water, it knows how to navigate. If it ends up on the seashore, it's still, stable there. So it's stable in land or in sea. So for December, there's this sense of, wow, I don't know if you're going to find this beautiful, but this is truly the biggest gift that one could ever receive. And that is to be at peace within the world, no matter what the outcomes are. That's really powerful. To be at peace. That is the one thing that I've been trying to define for everyone, which I think is the definition of peace and the age of peace that everyone is talking about in the new golden age. I really think that being okay with the contrast and seeing the contrast as opportunities, either way, where we no longer see everything as just an end road for great things or terrible things, that all things lead to really powerful experiences, and that you can be at peace no matter what life presents to you. You know who you are, and you know how to adapt to whatever element or environment that you're in. And so this is what this kind of represents for me. And I think that's a profound gift to go through all that we will go through this year. The breakthrough is saying that you're free from the ego, from just the pull of the ego paradigm, and you bring it into balance. Stability. You ground it, all four legs on the ground. You're an observer. You are not a reactor. You understand. And remember, we were doing that exercise, peace be still, with the water. So here it is again. And this time, it doesn't mean that the water is going to stop. But what it means is that you are at peace. Because you can tell the water, you've learned to tell the waters within yourself, peace, be still, meaning your vibration. Hi, Nancy, how are you? You learn to tell your vibration. You're aligning with that, and you tell that ego, peace, be still, and the waters were still. Okay? So I think that's very, very powerful. Breakthrough for the year. All right, so let's take a moment for each of you. And I know you think to yourself, well, this I could do without doing the meditation, but let's see. That's what's really incredible. Using meditation, not making assumptions, and really the meditation, the process of meditating or doing what we're doing, which is path work and going into the cards, is to get you to be more consistent in practicing, getting in touch with your inner being and making sure that you're online, that you through your inner net, right? And you never know what source oneness is offering. We should never assume. Yep. All right, so let's everyone take a really good look at this card. And I really want you to hold in your mind the energy of the number of this card, 4, which is about stability and grounding, um, structured, organized, maybe and not just in this, and don't think of these words like in the old sense, but in the new paradigm sense. What does that mean? And then cups, about relationships, relating to one another, relationship with the physical world as you go in. So close your eyes, take a deep breath. See that spotlight? You're on the stage and that spotlight's shining just on you. And now see it, feel the peace and the same vitality without that spotlight. You feel just as energized and appreciative. And then you call up the image of this card in your mind's eye. And you take a deep breath and you take in the entire environment with all your senses, the smell, taste, feelings. Feel the energy, hear the sounds of the water, and step into the card, knowing that your guides are accompanying you, your angels and guides. And asking the angels to help you to discover your own peace within and how you will be able to create stability, peace with and a new relationship with the world where you feel safe, where you don't need the contrast to cease in order for you to feel safe, where you don't need others to be different or to be perfect or to be good in order for you to feel safe. Where you learn just to be yourself and to finally understand and recognize how much power that you influence. And take a deep breath and thank your guides and your angels. And especially our Saturnian guide, who is now putting on her cloak and closing out. And as you step out, take a deep breath and leave your comments for everyone to listen to. I felt really, all of a sudden, like I was really anchored. And I saw God come as if that we'll be able to hold the space for our God consciousness, for the oneness consciousness, more clearly and more accurately. Be still and know that I am God kind of sense is you'll have that sense more clearly. And that is just going to open up so many possibilities. These are things that we can't even talk about or try to imagine at this point. until we allow ourselves to reach there. And that's why breaking the cycles, stop, pause, deep sobering breaths, reflection is going to be so key to this year. Paying attention to the telepathic information that comes through in this year. Not being afraid, and so, like, again, from January through June. After that, we have this sort of shift, major positive shift. But then there's going to come the challenge of being open to this. And in the last 3 months, taking all of this, taking the things that are the opportunities that are given to us and transforming them, letting it transform us, letting it remake us. These opportunities that seem like they're going to remake us somehow, and place some new. It's almost like this grounding. Like there's some new. Oh God, the word is coming to. It's a new platform. Not the right word. A new operating system. Like by the end of the year, we have a new operating system that's more stable, secure, that's more accurate, that has access to, that's able to process larger amounts of information without burning you out or causing you to panic. It'll be like you can understand and perceive and receive it. And so that's where all this is headed. So that you can, once you really are that, stable in how you perceive the world, that whole new relationship, then, you'll be able to really step into your mastery, where you'll really have the trust to create the realities that you desire. Oh, okay. That's interesting, Terry. Let me just see what somebody. Linked to 4 elements of Mother Earth and Father Sky. Ah, wonderful, Susan. Oh, nice, Judy. Wow, that is really powerful, Maureen. Very powerful. And that's a gift right there, Peachy. That all of these things that you're experiencing, like it may not, sometimes it makes sense right to your mind and your heart, but for you, if you saw something and it didn't make sense to your mind, but listen to what you said, because that's sort of like a new software, right, of experience that you're receiving, that's linking you to, so you can recognize the opportunity that's in store for you. So let's not think just about things, material things, but remember, it's the emotional, spiritual, and I'm glad that the last card that we have is, the last card that we have is a water card, because it's the emotional aspect that's really, once that shifts, once that holds the space, no longer for our pain and our mistrust and our disbeliefs and our doubts, and it starts to hold the space for our divinity, our power, our spiritual power, our light, our love, our peace. This is when we want we want the heavens to pour, holy manna, pour our blessings on us, because we want it to be in the context of our inner peace, not the context of our fears, right? A new state of being. Absolutely. That's what we should be looking forward to in our breakthrough. And that means everything that we're doing this year, our role is to break the connections that we've had before. Break those bugs. So like when you pause, breathe, and reflect, you break those, you debug the software, and you clean up your software and you prepare it for the new software. But we can't, we got to get the bugs out first. We got to debug the programs, and then we can clear those programs off of our motherboard and put on and receive the new and implement and update to the new software of emotional experience. So we need a new context of emotional experience, a new database of emotional experiences to really transform. And so that's what our breakthrough year is really about. It's breaking that emotional barrier. So everyone, so that other people will feel guided and have patience to watch what we've experienced. I'm going to stop now, and thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your spiritual wisdom from your higher self, because that's where we draw this from, our collective higher selves. And everyone who's watching or hasn't watched or who will be watching was here, their higher self was here participating. Okay? So let's go ahead and close out. Let's see, PGT, it has to be really quick. You know what I can do? I can try to post it on the YouTube post. I'll see if I can take a picture and get it. But all the videos will be on my YouTube page, so you can see it. But I'll try to figure that out. Okay, I know what you mean. Pick someone. So I'll try to figure that out. All right. I don't think it should be difficult. But these cars are quite large, so that's the problem. All right. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.